Never mind. One more time. Hello everybody, I'm Sal Gallegos with the Tucson International Mariachi Conference, and today we're going to be looking at Tres Consejos, an arrangement by Eddy Lopez for the Tucson International Mariachi Conference 2020. So first of all, first thing we want to do when looking at a new piece of music is, and I'm going to quote my good friend and mentor Robert Martinez, who always taught me that you want to look at the left hand first, which pretty much represents the notes, the pitches, what key are we going to be in. We're looking at the key signature, stuff like that. The right hand is more what dictates the rhythms and the speed. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the time signature to see if we're going to be playing fast, slow, those kinds of things. And the final thing is going to be the roadmap. So that's what's going to show us pretty much that, where we're going to start, where we're going to finish. We're going to be looking for stuff like repeats and the coda, and once we figure all that stuff out, we should be able to play the song. Yeah? All right, so let's start here with, like we said, the left hand, which we're going to be looking at the key signature. And here we can see in the bass clef, we have an F sharp. So I'm sure you guys by now have been looking at some other music and should be familiar at least with your scales. So one sharp represents a G scale, and I'm looking at the music and I see we have right off the bat a G octave, this high G here. This is how they used to teach us the G back in the day. Nowadays, just a G by itself is sufficient, especially with the range of the Guitarron, and usually we're playing into microphones and stuff like that nowadays. Just, an open G is sufficient. But you do want to tune up that G, so you're going to use your pinky and third finger to find the octave, and that's going to be your G. So let's do a G scale with the octave. So we have a G, we have the A in octaves, B, C, D, E, your F sharp, and once again your G with the octave. Yeah? All right. So next thing we're going to look at here is the notes that we're playing, and we do have a lot of what you call accidentals, and looks like modulations, but what I'm mostly noticing is all those triads. So I think a good warm-up for this song would be triads, maybe in circle of fifths. And what a triad is, we're starting on a C. In the C scale, you have the 1, the 3, and the 5. So you're gonna skip the 2, which is the D, you have the E, and the G. So 1, 3, 5, C, E, G. Now we're gonna start our next triad with that G, which is the 5th. Now we have a G, B, D. I'm gonna keep going with that pattern. D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E, G sharp, D, D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, or D flat. Now we're getting more into the flat keys. Because usually if you're going to do something in this key, it'll probably be called a D flat. So I'm going to start going with the flats. A D flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A, C. We're back to where we started, a full circle of fifths. Yeah? So I'm going to do it continuously. And like I said, this is a good exercise here. It's kind of like La Negra, but we're going to keep going. All the keys. Trying to get a nice even sound from all the notes. Yeah, so it might be a good idea to practice that and warm up with that for a little while before we jump into this. But I guess we can start looking at the right hand, which is going to be the time signature. And here we see we have a 3/4, and only because I am a little familiar with this song, not necessarily this arrangement, but I've heard this song before, so I know it's a huapango. So more than likely, we're going to be counting in 3 and 6/8, which is basically the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3. But the thing is, when we do the 6/8, sometimes we're going to do it in 2. It's a little easier to count in 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because right off the bat, I see we have a syncopated rhythm. So we have an 8th rest, and we come in on the and of 1. So and 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3. Or we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have those options. Keep in mind, when you see a quarter rest, which is a squiggly line, we're going to come in on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As opposed to an 8th rest, which is the little kind of 7 looking thing, little check. We're going to come in on the syncopated beat right after the 1. 1, 1. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, syncopated. We have quite a bit of those. If we look at measure 10, for example, we have those syncopated rhythms. So that might be a good idea to count that in 6. And then we had these triads that we talked about, and those are going to be all straight. 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. Other than that, I think we might be ready to jump into this. Should we try it at a slower tempo first and then maybe speed it up, which is always a good idea. It's always a good idea to practice these songs with a metronome. For this song, however, I'm noticing that there's some tempo changes and we have some fermatas. So it's going to be a little hard to play through the whole song with a metronome. But let's go ahead and do the beginning, maybe at a slower speed. I'm going to try maybe, let's do 120. See what that feels like. Yeah. And here it goes. I'm just going to read through this nice and slow. And 1, 2, 3, 1. Triad, octaves, triad. 1, 2, 3, triads. Scale, syncopations. Modulation, syncopations. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we have that fermata. So that was the beginning there. Like I said, it's not a bad idea to practice it nice and slow. Maybe do that a few times and then move on, because it looks like that's probably the hardest part of this song, other than the triads at C, or we have some triads there. But that's pretty much it. This song doesn't have much. Should we try it at tempo, and maybe you guys can either play along with me or keep doing it at that slow tempo. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this at maybe 145. I'm not sure what tempo Mr. Lopez wanted this at, but I think 145 should be a decent tempo. So I'm gonna play through the whole thing. Now, what we're looking at, once again, the map, which we haven't discussed. We have a repeat right at the beginning, and that goes all the way through the end of C, right? Measure 45. So then it looks like we have first and second ending there, and then we have a third ending. So basically it looks like we play the whole thing 3 times. The first 2 times with the first ending, third time with the third ending, and that's gonna take us out. Yeah? All right, let's try this. Here it goes. Let's get a tempo going here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1. Triads once again. Scale, syncopations. We have that fermata. We're waiting for the voice. 1, 2, 3, 1. F sharp. Oh, sorry. All right. I'm talking here. All right, here it goes. Let's take it from A. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 1. The modulation here. Back to F sharp. Slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tempo. Yeah. Triads. Back to F sharp. Slow again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Beginning and 1. So this is the second time through. Waiting for the voice, and 1, 2, 3, 1. Again, the modulation, back to the F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Triads. F sharp and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beginning, third time. 1. And 1. What's the F sharp, F natural, back to F sharp. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. For the third ending. Slow again. This is the last time, and we're gonna go out. 1, 2, 3, 1. there you go. So it should be fun once we figure out, or everybody figures out their parts and we play this as an ensemble. It should be nice. I always have, good respect, or a lot of respect for Mr. Lopez and his arrangements. So I know this is going to be beautiful. Thank you for joining me and looking at this music. On behalf of the Tucson International Mariachi Conference and myself, good luck, and we'll be seeing you guys soon.